Circle of Women podcast. Oh my goddess, I cannot believe that this is happening because I've been dreaming about this day for years and the time never felt right. Always something right until today. I woke up this morning and I said, today is the day. Trust me, nothing is perfect, neither the setup. I am not like crazy prepared for this transmission, but everything feels right. I made myself a cup of ceremonial cacao, made throne, lit some candles, smudging the space, and I'm ready to deliver the first transmission for Circle of Women community. Before we dive into today's transmission, I wanted to explain to you a little bit about my vision behind this work that I'm here to do. The main intention with this podcast is to deliver a value for my beloved community. You know, I am creator, I'm an artist, courses, masterclasses, they coming here and there, but I wanted to show up more embodied and more consistent, and really deliver what you, my beautiful women, asking me in my private sessions, one-on-one coachings, in my retreats, and in those closer proximity containers. So this podcast going to deliver value around women's embodiment, feminine mysteries, feminine leadership, and relationships. The topics that I am absolutely passionate about, and the topics that I know that you would like to receive some guidance. Information that I'm gonna be sharing in this podcast is everything that I gathered through 10 years of my personal experience being in this rabbit hole of feminine mysteries, from my teachings, my own courses, my own mentors, and also stories from beloved clients, beloved women from our community. Stories of transformation, stories of death and rebirth, stories of quantum jumps, stories of celebration. Because at the end of the day, this is community space, this is a sisterhood, and one woman's story can inspire us so much more than any blueprint, formula, masterclass, or course. Information that I'm going to be sharing in this podcast is supposed to be shared with us a long time ago. In the circles, in the women-only groups, red tents, by our mother, our grandmother. But unfortunately, they couldn't do that because nobody shared this information with them. In the Middle Ages, the mysteries, the feminine mysteries, all of the wisdom around feminine sexuality, women's empowerment, liberation, ritual ceremonies being suppressed big time by the big religions, by the patriarchy. They're being forgotten, but now we're remembering. We're remembering our way back home, breath by breath, bone by bone. We're bringing the divine feminine back to our altars, back to our homes, relationships with ourselves, with beloveds, back to community. And this podcast is a space of sacred remembrance. So I'm really not here to give value and teach you things. This podcast is a place for you to remember what you already know deep inside your womb, deep inside your heart, deep inside your bones. It's just a reminder about your power, about the magic of being a woman. It's a reminder that you are magic on legs. So welcome to the circle. Welcome. Imagine the fire close to us. I have candles burning, and let's remember together what it really means to be an empowered woman. Well rested, well loved, well paid. This is one of the mottos of Circle of Women community: well rested, well pleasured, or well fucked, or well paid, you choose. And this is what we're trying to reclaim. So what I wanted to share, what felt right to share in this first episode, is my story. Story in general, in women's mysteries and feminine mysteries, is an ancient forgotten art. Through myths and stories, we used to learn about archetypes, about our power, about our magic, about values. Myths and stories through ages worked as a shaman, as a guide, as a mentor. Every time we read those ancient myths, we can go deeper and deeper into the story and uncover deeper and deeper layers of wisdom that rests within. I absolutely love sharing myths and stories in my women's groups and women's circles with my clients too. So I'm gonna start with my story and sharing the story how I end up teaching feminine mysteries, leading women's circles, leading women's circle trainings, and offering this well of wisdom to my one-on-one clients and my closer proximity clients. So I feel that in my life I had quite a few rites of passage already that brought me deeper and deeper to this path. You can call rites of passage, you can also call them the darker nights of the soul. When shit hit the fan and I was down on my knees and I couldn't see the point, there was no return, I couldn't go forward, I was just stuck in the mush. And I stayed there and I surrendered until I started seeing the point. And all of these dark nights of the souls was part of my path, part of my story, part of my evolution that brought me where I am today. So the most important rites of passage in my life that happened, that brought me closer to where I am today and made me so obsessed about feminine mysteries. The first one was my my first day of menstruation. I started bleeding when I was 13. Now I know that 13 is the feminine number. This is the number of the divine feminine. 13 moons, we have 13 moons, 13 cycles each year. And I started bleeding when I was 13, just after my 13th birthday. And my mom wasn't at home with me that day, which is very, very strange and uncommon, because she would never travel, she would never leave the house and just not be there. But that day, that one night, she had a work trip in one of the bigger cities in Lithuania, and I was staying with my grandmother, so my mom wasn't present. And I noticed that I'm bleeding, of course, all of the feelings. I got a little bit scared. What's happening? I knew deep inside that, okay, my cycle started, but at the same time, I was really like, oh, yeah, I don't know what to do, what I need to put in. It hurts a little bit. I feel some cramps. So, of course, there's lots of fear. And I guess, yeah, the main emotion was fear. And like really not being held because my mom wasn't there, right? So I called my mom, I explained what happened, and she said, okay, now what you need to do. I felt, first of all, the sadness in her voice, the sadness that she cannot be here with me that day. But she said, okay, go to the neighbor. She owned a little shop that was selling some most important things that you need for daily basis. And so she said, go to a neighbor and buy yourself menstrual pads and, sort yourself out. And tomorrow I'm going to explain everything. So guess if I went to the shop? Not, because I was so embarrassed to go and ask for menstrual pads. Why embarrassed? I don't know. But this embarrassment, it was in my body, the shame. Even though she's female, but I still felt shame to go and ask. And it took me quite some years to understand why I felt shame, you know. So what I did instead, I just put inside some cotton and I slept. Was everything okay? The next day I put more cotton. I went to school, and I stayed in school all day. Everything was fine. And at the end of the lessons, around 2 p.m., we had a meeting. We had this very interesting meeting with the girlfriends from my school and our head teacher. We're having this meeting once per year. So it's not really a common thing. Once per year we gather together, we drink tea, only girls and head teacher. We eat cookies and we gossip, mainly about the boys, what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're misbehaving. So we're spilling the tea, you know, literally. and this was the day. This was the day that I couldn't go home straight after the lessons. We had to go for an hour to this meeting. And we stayed there, and what I noticed that on my chair I saw some blood, and I felt, oh my God, my heart went into my heels again. The layer of embarrassment. What if someone gonna see it? I cannot stand up, I cannot show. Okay, I'm gonna just sit here, my butt gonna be glued to the chair, and when everything will finish, when the meeting will finish, I'm gonna leave the last, and I'm gonna sort the chair, and nobody gonna notice. So I just stayed there, white, not talking, just waiting, counting the minutes until all this meeting is over. And of course, there was one girl who said, "Oh, look what's on Aiste's chair. There's lots of blood. What's happening? Oh my God! Oh my God!" Like, oh no, please, can you stay quiet? And of course the head teacher came. She was very kind. All the girls were super kind and very compassionate. And that day I understood, not that day, actually later I understood, I figured out that I was the first girl in my class who started her cycle, who started bleeding. Back in the days we would bleed a little bit later. I know that now it's very common for girls to start their bleeding at 10, 11, 12 years old, but back in the day it would be more like 14, 15. And yeah, nothing. We helped me to sort myself out, and this was a very beginning. The first time, the first day of cycle, a season of agony and pain and shame and embarrassment. Because since that day, every month, I felt cursed to have the most intense, the most deep, the most heartbreaking menstrual pain ever. I gave birth, and now when I compare this pain to the pain of giving birth, to be honest, sometimes I wonder which one was more intense. So you can imagine now how much pain I felt that back in the day, right? The giving birth equals hundreds of the pain of 100 broken bones. It's so intense, And my menstrual pain was the same. I would end up in hospitals having injections because medicine, pills wouldn't work anymore for me. And it was really traumatic. It was really, really dark night of the soul those days. I would be having diarrhea, throwing up, collapsing in the school corridors. Intense. And I stayed with this pain for more than 10 years. Of course, I went to gynecologist. He would give me write down some contraception, to balance the hormones and to reduce the pain. But deep inside, I felt that this contraception is not for me. I don't want to drink medicine every day. And I just, felt huge resistance towards these pills. So I chose to drink medicine only when I bleed, but not every day. Now the breaking point what happened was when I was in Thailand with my beloved, with my husband Michael. We were in Koh Phangan island and we had to move islands. I think we went to Koh Phangan afterwards. And we sat on the bus and I started feeling that I just started my bleed. And the cold sweat just went all over my body because I knew that what it means to bleed on the first day of my period, and I'm traveling and it's hot and I'm carrying all these bags and it's gonna be a long day of me not being able to lay down and go through my agony. So I knew that, wow, it's going to be an intense day, but I had no idea how intense it's going to be and how this day is actually going to change my life. On this rose quartz island of Koh Phangan, a very powerful event happened. I remember the bus stopped because people needed to rest and drink some drinks, refresh themselves. So we went to this little cafeteria, a little coffee shop, and I started to feel so nauseous and diarrhea, and the pain was so intense, like if I would rate it maybe 9 out of 10, like I could barely, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I was sweating, I was hot and cold, it was really disaster. So I had to lay down on the floor in this cafeteria. And I remember I'm laying on the floor in agony and I open my eyes and I see all these people around me, maybe 7, 8 people looking down to my body, looking down to me with so much sadness and fear, because most of them had no idea what the hell is happening to this girl. She's having some attack or something, like, they thought that it's something like crazy, And at that moment, there was the moment of no return. There was a moment, a very spiritual moment that happened in my life. A moment when I decided that, okay, things going to change now. I'm going to heal this pain. I'm going to heal my wound in a holistic way. I'm going to take my life back into my hands and control. I don't want to feel the shame again. I want to get over it. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. And decision was made. And I'm sure that you had this kind of experiences in your life when, you understand that your life sucks, that these habits that you have doesn't bring you towards the highest version of yourself, that this relationship is not empowering you, or you name it, and you deciding. This is the special moment when decision is made. And it's going to happen because you know it, you feel it in every single cell of your bone that now you're gonna make it. Now you're gonna make it happen. So this was one of these spiritual moments. And when I came back to another island, the first thing I downloaded on my Kindle as many books as I could afford back in the day about womb healing, about menstrual cycle healing, but mainly womb healing. And it was a full moon, I remember, because there was this full moon party that night. And even though I felt so tired, so exhausted, I knew that I need to go there. And I went to this party. I didn't drink, I didn't really party, but I went to this Goa trance stage. And I remember I just moved my body barefoot. I looked at the full moon and danced the night slowly, gently through this trance music. And I remember sending this intention to the grandmother moon to heal my womb, to guide me, to show me the way, to tell me why this is happening to me, why I have to face so much pain each month. And so this was like a ritual. I had no idea about the rituals and the full moon power and the full moon magic. I just thought it's super beautiful and it's fun to party on the full moon, under the full moon. But it was, really my intention was sealed that night. And that's it. And this is how I started to be a nerd of the womb mysteries. And I learned so many beautiful tools such as cycle syncing. I learned about inner seasons, different phases of menstrual cycle, and what we need to eat each week, how we need to move our body, what kind of practices we need to do. I learned how to become friends with my menstrual cycle, with my blood, I started offering blood to the earth. I started painting with my blood. I know that for so many of you it's gonna be way too hardcore and too intense, and I'm not saying that you have to do that right now, but this is my journey, and I had to do all of these things, to try all of these practices, to see what's working, what's not working, and it was a very, very beautiful journey that not only healed my menstrual pain, but the journey that really empowered me to respect my feminine body, to fall in love with my feminine body, to fall in love with my bleed, with my cycle, with my womb. And it was one of the most empowering journeys, pilgrimages that I ever took. And I traveled a lot in my 20s. A lot, India, Morocco, you name it, by myself. But this pilgrimage, the pilgrimage to explore my innerverse, my own body, was the most profound, was the most empowering, the most memorable, the most magical experiences. Because I figure out that I am magic on legs. I am magic of legs that bleeds each month and it's not dying, that sheds, releases each month and becomes more and more empowered after the cycle finishes. So many codes got unlocked only by studying menstrual cycle. It's so empowering. And my menstrual pain started calming down each month, but still, it was a lot. It was a lot for maybe one more year. But you know, when it was gone, there was another initiation that happened. So first of all, I have to prove to God, Goddess, Universe, the Creator, however you call it, I had to prove that I am committed. I'm committed to my healing. I'm committed to my becoming. One cycle was softer, one cycle was harsher, but I was committed to do the practices, to do the affirmations, to stick with my medicine, holistic medicine, womb yoga. And there was this moment, there's this cycle. I was already living in Ibiza, and I remember I started bleeding, and I said to my beloved, I said, look, I'm gonna close the curtains, I'm gonna lock the door, I want you to leave me alone, because normally he's comforting, soothing me, bringing me cold towel and teas when I bleed the first day. I have such a supportive husband, bless him. But that day I said, look, I want to do something different. I felt intuitive call to just stay with my pain, stay with my cycle, and feel it all. No medicine, nothing, just feel it, stay with it. And he said, okay, but if something, please just shout and I'm gonna come. So we had our secret word. Normally it's blue pineapple, emergency word. And I knew that, he can support me, because I would be terrified being by myself on this day. And I closed the curtains, and I started my journey to underworld. I started my journey, and of course the pain got more and more intense. It was rising and rising and rising. And for a few moments I thought to reach for the pills and the painkillers, but I stayed and stayed. I tried to meditate, it didn't work. I tried to say affirmations, didn't work. I tried to do some yogic postures to help to release the blood flow. I couldn't do anything, I couldn't move. So at the end I just rolled into a little cocoon, hide my head, my body under the covers, and I just stayed in this darkness. And I felt so much pain. And instead of resisting, trying to separate myself from this pain, trying to see this pain from outside, trying to change it, to fix it, to heal it, to make this disappear, do something for it to disappear, I did something what is a huge part of somatic embodiment, is becoming the emotion, feeling the feeling, feeling the emotion fully, like really becoming one body with your pain. And I became one body. I just allowed the pain to take over every single cell of my existence. My physical, my emotional, my spiritual bodies, I became the pain. I felt its color, its size, its shape, its textures. I really became one body. And this was the sacred union with my enemy, the sacred union of my someone that I wanted to push away for so many years that I couldn't accept. And what I noticed is that in that moment, in these deep moments of such intense pain that I couldn't even locate the area of the pain, what I started to feel is that this pain is slowly starting to calm down, is slowly starting to go away, and something new, the wave of something new is coming, and the something new was heat, was gentle movement that comes in my body, was a very pleasurable experience that comes from my yoni, from my genitals. It was like a kundalini, like a snake moving in my body, in my spine. I felt some pleasure overtaking my body, the wave of pleasure riding in my body. My spine started to move. I allowed this feeling to move, to expand, to stretch. And I didn't resist. I just surrendered and allowed my body to do its thing. And I noticed how my body is intuitively moving this pain to different areas of my body. And I'm breathing, exhaling through my mouth, and I'm allowing the pain to go out of my body. And this alchemical transformational journey happened when we, alchemy is when you take one thing, one texture, right, one element, you create the process and something new emerges out of it, right? So from pain, I started to feel an orgasmic experience. I started to feel pleasure. And I felt that, oh my goddess, I'm actually having an orgasmic experience now. Later, I understood that there was a very gentle invitation into my Kundalini awakening journey. The Shakti, the feminine life force, got awakened. This dormant snake that normally rests at the base of our spine. It got awakened, and this opened the portal of my sexual discovery, of my tantric journey. It opened another chapter in my becoming, another chapter in feminine mysteries. And nothing. And afterwards, after this orgasmic, full body orgasm and this Kundalini awakening, I was just laying down and was like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? And this was it. This was the medicine that I took, the medicine of surrendering, the medicine of embodying the pain, somatic practice of staying present to the sensations instead of resist. I jumped into the fire and I rised as a phoenix out of these ashes. The pain didn't burn me. It empowered me to the level that you cannot imagine. It strengthened me so much. It was a heroine journey. Her journey of becoming who I am today. And next cycle, next period, I've been like impatiently waiting for first time, waiting for my period, because I thought, oh my God, what's gonna happen now? And I had no pain. I had no pain. And the third time, I had no pain. I never ever again had menstrual pain. I would have cramp here and there, but it was like I could do everything, So this was really an initiation into the feminine sexuality, into Tantra world. I became obsessed with the snake, this Kundalini movement, and this erotic experience that I felt, and I understood that, well, the womb is healed. I did lots of work that year. Now I understood, okay, the second level is sexuality. Now it's time to work with the dark feminine. Now it's time to work with the feminine mysteries and understand my body in an even deeper way, because very often we women think that to feel pleasure, to be sexually, fulfilled is the job of our beloved, is the job of the man. It's not true. To be sexual being, to feel, to be like warm inside, not numb, and open, and feel pleasure and feel those multiple orgasms, it's a job of a woman. It's a practice. It's something that you can achieve with the feminine practices. It's something that they teach too. It's not responsibility of the man to give you all this, You have your inner beloved within, and we have we have so much power, and we can feel, women, so much pleasure. We are wired for pleasure, like just the clitoris itself. It's there's no really purpose of clitoris apart of feeling pleasure. So but in order to feel pleasure, you first need to open your body to feel all of the emotions, because we live in the world of duality, and very often we want to feel pleasure, we want to feel orgasmic experiences, we want to feel love, we want to feel all these beautiful feelings. But the world of duality it is what it is. In order to feel orgasmic experience, you need to feel anger and pain and grief, and on the other side you're gonna feel this beautiful stuff, right? In order to feel love, you need to face your fear. Yeah. And I always give example to my students, like, you see all those Latin Americans, one moment they're fighting, they're fully liberating their anger, and 15 minutes later they're having the hot sex ever, because they are so open. They are open to anger, and they are open to erotica too, because anger and erotica, it's two sides of the same coin. And it's really, really important to work with all these emotions, not only positive. It's really important to open your body to feel it all. So if at this time, at this chapter of your life, you feel those heavy emotions, like I've had so much pain, right, that I had to face, and I know it's not only my pain, it was generational pain, but maybe you're facing other emotions like grief, sadness, loss. I'm really inviting you not to try to fix it, heal it, or go away from it. I'm really inviting you to feel it all, to stop rejecting it. Just feel it all, surrender to it, and you're going to open your body for something beautiful that's waiting on the other side of this feeling and emotion. Again, Goddess, she is duality. She is two extremes with no beginning and no end. So every time you're going to feel, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And remember, the more you can feel sadness, the more you're going to feel love. And to feel love, to be loved, to love is in my opinion, is the biggest mission, the biggest goal in a woman's life. So I wish to be love, to love, and to be loved in return. So this is the transmission that I wanted to share with you today, my story, how I end up obsessed with woman's body, with embodiment, with woman's cycle, her sexuality, and the goddess, the mystery, not the medical way to heal the body, even though I know a lot about that, but I am obsessed about the ancient, old, intuitive ways of uncovering woman's power, not by having a pill and suppressing feelings, emotions, sensations, but by jumping into the fire or jumping into this cold, vast ocean of feelings and emotions, and really diving deep, deep, deep to get the wisdom, to get the knowledge of what it really means to be a bleeding, feeling, empowered woman. And this is what I do in my close proximity containers, in Embody Femme, in my signature program. This is what I do with my one-on-one clients. And if you not follow me on Instagram, Aiste_Anandi, I'm sharing pieces of this transmission. So we're there, stories from my personal life and from stories from my clients. So make sure you follow me there. And yes, this is it. This is the transmission. I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode. I prepared something really, really beautiful for you. And looking forward to seeing you there. So thank you for being present. Much love, much health, much abundance to you, my darling.